All right, folks, welcome back. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and today we're going to be talking about my guy, Ahkello Witherspoon, and why I think the Rams might be subtly teasing a potential contract deal with him following the season. Now, I could be reading into it more than some, but I'm going to give you my thoughts and then some. Before we dive into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Be sure to follow me on all social media at JKBogan, including Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Kick. And before I get into today's sponsor, I just want to let you guys know that I started a brand new YouTube channel, which you're probably well aware of. It is going to have interviews from all different backgrounds, all different industries, all different types of people. It is called The Lounge with Jake Ellenbogen, and I would really appreciate it if you gave that a subscribe. It is on my channel. The link is also in the description below, and I am giving away a $50 Amazon gift card to one lucky person who has subscribed. So be sure to do that to enter. But without further ado, today's sponsor is Prize Picks, and we got a game tonight. I went over this in the previous video. Well, I'm talking about it again. You got Seattle and Chicago. This game is huge for Rams fans. People will be watching, but if you need some skin in the game, you can do so with Prize Picks using my code JKBogan. It's going to get you $50 instantly when you play at least a $5 lineup. So big time stuff there. Like I said in the previous video, Jackson Smith and Jigba, I really like his 73.5 receiving yards. I'm going with the more on that one. Caleb Williams to throw a touchdown and DJ Moore to have more, than 5.5 receptions. So to get in on the action, once again, JKBogan is the code. You are going to get $50 instantly, win or lose, when you play a $5 lineup with Prize Picks. All right. It's time. And I know I've gotten your tweets and your DMs and all that. I've seen it. I'm not living under a rock. Ahkello Witherspoon has been talked about quite a bit this week. Sean McVay raved about him. Kevin Demoff talked about him. And the Rams PR Twitter even tweeted about him. So now I don't want to get too much into that, but I do want to kind of bring it all together. And what I'm going to start off by saying is this. Right now, the 2024 cornerback separation prevented, there's like this graph, right? And Ahkello is ahead of Kobe Durant and Darius Williams, proving that he essentially allows the fewest separation of any corner on this team, which therefore I would say is fair grounds to say he's probably the best cornerback on this team, which I would say he is. Ahkello is rated alongside Devin Witherspoon, J.C. Horn, Jalen Ramsey, Charvarius Ward, A.J. Terrell, among others, right? Riley Moss, guys like that. Pretty good. All those names are pretty good. He is essentially where you want to be. He's above average, and that's a really good thing. Since Ahkello started actually starting full games, because you have to keep in mind, he hasn't even played 250 coverage snaps yet. So they haven't really let him start until week 15, and this is where the Rams PR tweet came in. He is first in pass breakups since the 49er game with 5. He's tied for first in passes defended with 4, and he's tied for 6th in incompletions against as a primary defender with 7 per Rams PR. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, Sean McVay talked quite a bit about Ahkello Witherspoon in his latest presser on the cornerbacks. He was asked about why Kobe Durant didn't play. And to be fair, those of you who don't know, Kobe Durant suffered a lung contusion. I was told he was coughing up blood on the sidelines, like not good, right? I'm glad he's okay. Seems like he's okay. And I think it's very fair to assume that he was not going to play in the 49er game on a short week. And if he did play against the Jets, it would be in a limited capacity, considering how cold it was. You're not trying to push it. However, I didn't really get that tone in this interview, okay, this presser. I'm kind of the belief right now, Sean McVay is telling us, without saying it, that Ahkello Witherspoon is likely going to supplant Kobe Durant the rest of the year as the starting cornerback. And look, this is how the NFL works. It might seem really cruel, but Kobe Durant is not an established player in this league where he's getting paid $20 million a year, and you can't do this. Kobe Durant is a player that was playing very well and got hurt, and down the stretch in that game, someone else stepped in, Ahkello Witherspoon, and made a big impact and carried that into the 49er game on a short week in the rain, and then carried it on into the Jets game. Very, very cold game. So Ahkello Witherspoon is starting this weekend, in case you didn't know. I can confirm that. But these were the quotes from Sean McVay that I thought were really interesting, and I felt like this was worth making at least a video about. I think he played really well over the last couple weeks, McVay said of Witherspoon. Kobe is getting back off the lung contusion against Buffalo. He's a guy that we have tremendous confidence in, but thought Ahkello and Darius had played really well against San Fran. Kobe's a guy that has played at a high clip this year. It's a nice luxury to be able to have three guys that we look at as truly starting corners. We have some guys that can be flexible in terms of playing that star position or the safety position. So it doesn't necessarily mean, based on this, that we won't see Kobe ever again. Kobe could be playing that star. They could also move Ahkello to that star. But the point is, Ahkello is going to be on the field. And that's how it should be. That's what I've been saying. That's what a lot of people have been saying. A lot of you guys have been saying. Some of you haven't, but that's okay. Then next up, he had a quote. I've been really pleased with Ahkello. I think he's played really well. McVay continued. I think he's competitive. He has good length. He has the ability to be sticky in coverage, especially on short and intermediate routes. I think he has really played the ball well down the field with some of the look and lean techniques and fundamentals. I've thought Ahkello has played really well these last 2 weeks. He's had some key and critical stops in some really important down distances that have been huge for our defense, both against the Niners and yesterday against the Jets. So again, if you're keeping track, so between the Rams PR mentioning Ahkello, Sean McVay raving about him in his presser, and then Kevin Demoff mentioning him on his Coach McVay show, this could mean he finds himself with the team longer than this year. There's a push from the Rams organization. Okay, this stuff doesn't just happen. When guys are mentioned, it means that they matter. Whether it's the short term and the long term, doesn't really matter. They matter. And it's fascinating. It's no secret where I stood on Witherspoon. The Rams paying him over Trey White. I thought paying Trey White over Ahkello was a mistake, and sure enough, it turned out to be. But Witherspoon has made a little over $2 million with the Rams. He made almost $6 million with the Steelers in those 2 years, $5 million on his rookie deal with the 49ers. That's across 4 years. And with Seattle, they paid him $2.5 million for a preseason before he was traded to Pittsburgh because they don't know what they were doing. They thought Trey Flowers was better. No idea why, but they did. So anyway, Ahkello Witherspoon has not gotten that big deal yet. And I'm not saying he's played himself into this gigantic deal where he's going to get $20 million and get paid like, L'Jarius Sneed or anything like that. Not saying he shouldn't. I'm just saying that's not what I'm saying he's going to get. But I have to imagine he's been looking for a long-term deal, and I believe he's earned it. He earned it last year, starting 18 games and playing at a very high clip for 95% of the season. The other 5% is when he was dealing with a groin injury that he just played through. The guy just stays on the field. He plays through. He tackles. He's sticky in coverage, both in the short and intermediate game. He's great. Probably the best ball skills I've seen from a Rams corner, aside from Jalen Ramsey. I mean, I don't even know, man. His ball skills are incredible. That's the thing that I think kind of gets left out. Because people will get mad when Ahkello gives up an inside slant. They won't talk about the time he broke up the original inside slant, but they'll get mad at him giving up the inside slant. But you can't get mad when he's doing what he's doing against Devontae Adams and forcing a turnover. Because I hate to break it to you, 4th down, throwing in the end zone, getting it batted away, that's turnover on downs. That's the same as the pick. So Kello was great on that. Kello was great on the Ricky Pearsall pass. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, because they'll say, well, he was helped out because Brock Purdy underthrew him. No. What happened was Brock Purdy underthrew him and saved himself from getting picked off because Ahkello ran the route for him. That's just the reality of it. I think a lot of the media coverage of Ahkello Witherspoon has been disingenuous and has been unfair. And that's why I've been, full disclosure, loud about him. But now this is just straight up calling it like it is. This isn't my opinion. The Rams are talking about him now. The Rams are letting him play. The Rams are starting him. The Rams PR department is talking about him. I don't mean to say this in a negative connotation, but when you look at the Rams, what they do, it is propaganda in a sense. When you have a team that is putting out content on a player, they're trying to steer your direction towards that player. If they have a player who they have an interview, Rams revealed or whatever, they're not just going to have a Rams revealed of a player that they're about to trade. They're going to have a Rams revealed of a player that they're trying to spotlight, like an Omar Spates or, a Michael Hoyt or Steve Avila or somebody like that. Tyler Johnson has a big play, that 60-plus yard catch against the Lions. I'm pretty sure he was the Rams revealed guy. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just a reminder that they do everything for a reason. They are a business. So the fact that Ahkello is being talked about like this and they're not brushing it under the rug tells me that they actually value him right now. And I could be wrong, and they might not pay him, and they might just, use him for the end of the season and then just go on their merry way. But I don't see that. And why would you? This guy has familiarity with this defense. He has a good relationship with the coaching staff. He's very well liked in the locker room. People I've talked to said that he's very well liked, and he's always talking. He actually should probably wear the C someday on his chest. And if he comes back next year and he comes back on a deal, I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up being a captain. He's not rah-rah, and he does seem a little quiet, but what you don't understand is that the social media post where, Emmanuel Forbes was getting helped out by Ahkello, that's how Ahkello is. He's willing to help these guys out. He's talking, okay? He's communicating. He is the veteran leader. And if you're concerned about paying a guy who's going to be 30 in March, let me remind you, they paid Darius Williams, who's 31. They gave him a 3-year deal. So why couldn't they give Kello a 3-year deal? I mean, I don't have a market value in front of me. I thought he was worth $8 to $12 million last year. I thought that was fair. But now, I mean, considering he hasn't really started a lot this year, I think you could get him for 3 years, $15 million. Maybe 3 years, $20 million, something like that. You wouldn't do that? Then you have that cornerback spot taken care of. You have a guy that can really, maybe he gives up a catch here and there. So does every other corner. And now you can focus on other needs. And in the Matthew Stafford era, aren't you really focused on just having guys that can play right away and can contribute and you can count on them? If you sign Ahkello to a 3-year deal, it fits in that Matthew Stafford window. He's going to play another 2 years after this year, maybe even another 3. But he's not going anywhere. Don't listen to any of the retirement stuff. I mean, if they win the Super Bowl, who knows, right? That might change things. But he's not leaving. So that's how I see that. I think it's definitely fair to say that. And I understand why you're giddy about the future at corner. I understand, you want to go out, want to get one of these talented cornerbacks out of the draft, and I get that. But the value that Kello's given the Rams on the veteran minimum 2 years in a row is unmatched. I don't have the whole contract book right in front of me, but Brock Purdy is the only one that comes to mind that's a better value, and that's not even the same deal. We're talking about a guy that was drafted Mr. Irrelevant. This guy is a veteran. He played 5-6 years in the league before they found him at this price. So, that's another thing to keep in mind. So I think the Rams will likely add another corner this offseason. They feel good about Emmanuel Forbes, and he's going to be a fun player to develop. Darius Williams is kind of hit or miss. I don't know. It depends on how he finishes out the season. He could be brought back, but his contract is not guaranteed after the first year. And there's no reason to assume why the Rams couldn't do that with Ahkello and give him kind of the same type of deal where you earn the rest of your money, because it's not really upfront a lot of guarantee. I just think the way the big names of the Rams brass are talking about him now, it's something to keep an eye on. It's not nothing. It's just not. For the majority of last year, you looked at all the stats, the majority, he was top 10 in almost every category for corner. Now this year hasn't gotten the opportunity to be a full-time starting corner, split time with Kobe, and then at one point he's just lost all his snaps. But now he's back and he's ready to go. And I'll tell you right now, unlike Kobe and Darius Williams and Trey White and all these guys, Ahkello Witherspoon didn't get any time in training camp. He didn't get a training camp to prepare. He basically got thrown right into the fire. Now, not entirely because he started on the practice squad, then didn't play until week 4. But that's another thing where you could look at it from the perspective of it took him a little bit to get ready. But in addition to that, it also kept the wear and tear off him. He should only get better as the season goes on. And having a guy playing at this level in the postseason, that's going to matter. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. I've ad nauseum have talked about Ahkello Witherspoon because I am always going to keep it real. I tweeted about it. I'm just always going to keep it real here. Yes, I like Ahkello. Like, as a friend. I like his dad as a friend. But at the same time, I'm of the belief, and I interviewed Troy Reeder. We interviewed him on Downtown Rams. Really like Troy Reeder. But I've kept it real with him. I've criticized him. You know, Joe Noteboom was one of my first interviews. I like Joe Noteboom, but that contract is not looking good. The point I'm making here is that I've had players in the past that I've really liked. I've interviewed, I've gotten to know, and I've had to have been critical before. The problem with the coverage of Ahkello is that it's always backhanded. They're backhanded compliments. This is the same thing Darrell Henderson went through. This is the same thing Austin Davis went through back with the St. Louis Rams, and is the same thing Corey Littleton went through. Instead of just saying Ahkello Witherspoon made a nice play there, it's always, well, you know, he made a nice play, but earlier he needs to make that tackle, or he missed the tackle, but he made a nice play. No, they don't talk about anybody else like that on this team, if you notice. And that's why I am the way I am. There's a method to my madness. It's not a bias. There's a legitimate method to my madness here. If I feel like a player is being covered unfairly, I'm going to call it out. And I think the people that think he's bad or whatever have no idea what they're watching. Literally none. Find me another guy on this team at cornerback that is able to turn around and play the ball the way he does. He has some of the best ball skills you will see. He's got incredible length. He's got incredible, size. You just don't even realize it. It's being taken for granted. Not by everybody, but enough for me to say that it's being taken for granted. So, in conclusion, I hope he gets paid regardless of where he ends up going. I'm a fan of his, but at the same time, I really want him to stay in LA, and I know he wants to stay in LA, so I hope it works out. Because I'll tell you right now, he may not be like going out and getting Jalen Ramsey by name, because Ahkello doesn't have that superstar name. He's never been all-pro before, right? That's probably what people are going to say. But you don't need all-pros to win. Go back and look at the Greatest Show on Turf and tell me that defense was full of just all-pros everywhere on the defense. It's not true. It's just not. You find key pieces. You find guys that can have that situational football, can play their best when their best is required, and that's how you win a Super Bowl. It's that simple. So those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comments section below what you guys think. This should be a doozy. But I'm Jake Ellenbogen. If you guys like this, be sure to like it. Be sure to subscribe. Check out today's sponsor, of course, Prize Picks, and use the code JKBogan. Get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup at least. And you don't have to win. You don't have to lose. It's just you get it instantly in your account. So those are my thoughts. You guys take care. I'll see you guys soon. Later, folks. Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.